Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark, and as usual, I've been diving deep into some pretty wild tech stuff this week.
And I'm Jenny, here to try and keep Mark from disappearing completely down the rabbit hole. Though I have to admit, sometimes the rabbit hole looks pretty interesting.
It's true, I can't resist a good rabbit hole. Especially when we're talking about something as crucial as data privacy. I mean, we're in 2025 now, and Data Privacy Week is highlighting some serious issues.
Right, and it seems like INE security is really focusing on how network security ties into all this. I mean, we all hear about data breaches, but do we really think about what goes into preventing them on the network side?
Exactly. And that's what I've been digging into. So basically what's happening is that network security is like the foundation. It's the bedrock of protecting personal data in today's world. Everything's connected, right?
It is. And we're not just talking about locking your front door. It is like building a moat, a wall, and having guards at the gate. But, digital.
Oh man, that's a great analogy. So picture this. Your data is like this treasure, and network security. It's like this intricate system of defenses.
Okay, I'm following. But how does that work in practice? I mean, what are we actually talking about here?
So there's this expert, Brian McGowan, a CCIE in security, and he emphasizes that advanced network security measures are fundamental. He says it's about preventing breaches through solid network design and operations.
Okay, that makes sense. So someone with serious credentials is saying network security is key.
Yeah, and he's with INE Security, which is a big name in network training. They're not just talking the talk. They're training people on this stuff.
And it's not something in the future, it's important now. I read that the theme for Data Privacy Week this year is Take Control of Your Data.
Which is such a crucial message. People need to realize how much is at stake. We're talking about personal information, financial data, everything.
And that ties into something I've been seeing a lot about lately. Phishing attacks. They're getting incredibly common, aren't they?
Oh, they're a big problem. The FBI's stats show they've nearly tripled in the last 4 years. Tripled! Can you believe that?
It's worrying. I mean, we all get those suspicious emails, right? But it sounds like it's way more than just an annoyance now.
Right? It's a major threat vector. Here's the thing about phishing. It's often the first step in a much larger data breach.
So it is like the gateway for hackers to get into a system?
Precisely. They trick someone into clicking a link or opening an attachment, and bam! They're in.
That's unsettling. So what can people actually do? I mean, beyond just being careful about emails.
Well, one of the big things is multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Have you set that up on your important accounts, Jenny?
Of course. It's that extra code you get on your phone, right? Makes total sense. It is like having a second lock on the door.
Yeah, that's it. It is something you know, like a password. Something you have, like your phone, and something you are, like a fingerprint. It's much harder for someone to break in if they need more than just your password.
I've heard it is effective. The research mentioned a bank that implemented MFA and saw a huge drop in account takeovers.
It is a great example of it working in the real world. 80% reduction in incidents. That's a big deal.
Okay, so MFA is a must-have. What else is important for protecting our data?
Encryption and VPNs, for sure. Especially when you're using public Wi-Fi. Think about it this way. Encryption is like scrambling your data so that even if someone intercepts it, they can't read it.
That makes sense. And a VPN is like a secure tunnel for your data, right?
Exactly. It masks your IP address and encrypts your data in transit. It's essential for remote workers or anyone using public networks.
I use a VPN all the time now, especially when I'm working from a coffee shop or something.
Smart move. I always think of it like this. You wouldn't shout your credit card number in a crowded room, right? Using public Wi-Fi without a VPN is kind of like that.
Good point. So looking ahead, what's the future of all this? I mean, technology is always changing, so how do we stay ahead of the threats?
That's where it gets really interesting. I was just reading about how AI could be used to create hacks that we've never seen before. It is kind of scary.
Wait, really? So like AI-powered cyber attacks?
Yeah, Bruce Schneier, a security expert at Harvard, he's predicting AI systems that can find vulnerabilities and exploit them faster than any human.
That sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but I guess it makes sense. If AI can write code, it can probably find ways to break it too.
And then there's quantum computing. That has the potential to break current encryption methods. It's a whole other level of complexity.
So what's the solution there? Some kind of quantum-resistant encryption?
Precisely. There are researchers working on that right now. It's like an arms race between the good guys and the bad guys, but on a quantum level.
It is a little daunting, to be honest. But it is also interesting to see how security is evolving to meet these new challenges.
And on the user side, there's this concept called zero trust architecture. It is basically trust no one, verify everything. Every user, every device.
That sounds a bit paranoid, doesn't it?
Maybe, but it is effective. It means that even if someone gets inside the network, they can't just move around freely. They have to keep proving who they are.
It is like those spy movies where they have to get through multiple layers of security, retinal scans, and voice recognition.
Yeah, exactly. And it is becoming more common in the corporate world. It is a big shift, but it makes sense for protecting sensitive data.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot here. Network security, phishing, MFA, encryption, VPNs, AI threats, quantum computing, and now zero trust. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but it all comes back to the core idea of taking control of your data, being aware of the risks, and taking steps to protect yourself.
And it's not just about individual actions, right? Companies and governments have a role to play too. I mean, there is a reason why we have regulations like GDPR and CCPA.
For sure. It is a collective responsibility, and it's a constantly evolving landscape. We have to keep learning and adapting.
Well said, Mark. I think that's a great note to end on. It's about being informed, being proactive, and working together to create a safer digital world.
Couldn't agree more, Jenny. And to our listeners, stay vigilant out there, and maybe take some time this week to review your security settings. It's worth it.
Great advice. Thanks for breaking all this down for us, Mark. And thanks everyone for listening. Until next time, stay secure.